Welcome to Educating Geeks, the show where geeks help geeks discover new passions. Today we're going to talk about one of my personal favorite movies, Big Trouble in Little China. And in the studio with us today is Nathan.
Hi there, I'm Nathan Blackwell, creator, writer, director of the web series Voyage Checkers.
And it's awesome.
Which is also
Yeah,
very
you should
awesome.
all be
Very
watching
fun.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Alice. We also have
Cassie.
And Megan.
I was very excited to do the show because, as I mentioned just moments ago, that this is one of my favorite all-time movies. And big shocker, as I have said this many times, I have probably seen this film. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I've seen this film more times than I've seen Star Wars, which many of you will probably find shocking, but it's true. It is absolutely true.
Considering
I
I can
actually-
guess how many times you've seen Star Wars.
That's a big number.
Yeah, for me, it's probably coming really close to a tie at this point.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, for someone who was watched Star Wars when he was 3 or 4 ever since now, that's a tough goal to beat.
So one of the things we do is try and do for people who have never seen the film, so they need some references to what we're talking about, is to give us sort of a very short, concise synopsis of what the film is about. And I feel like you would be a very good individual to do that. As a writer, you should have some skill here, right?
I was brought in as the guest expert on
Yes.
Big Trouble in Little
Yes.
China. Well, it's about a character, Jack Burton.
Played by Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. He's a little out of his element. He kind of has the swagger of John Wayne, and so he gets sucked into basically a big adventure that takes place in Chinatown in San Francisco. And so it initially starts out very normal, and then it continues to spiral into kind of genre craziness of martial art films, action films, even westerns, and then even the fast talking guy and girl of Howard Hawks.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite things about the film, actually.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the dialogue. I love snappy dialogue, so that just really adds to this film. And there's even a tiny bit of horror, because this is John Carpenter, so he brings in some of his special effects expertise.
He basically created the slasher film with Halloween.
Yes.
Right. So Cassie's over here just
Cringing.
cringing.
Grimacing.
Yes.
Because the creatures that he inserted were major WTF moments. I mean,
Yeah, because it starts out very normal. You're
Yeah.
not expecting anything like that to happen.
Yeah.
boom!
Right.
They're there, and they just keep on coming. After the first one, it's like, oh, there's another one. There's another
Do
one.
they explain what that is?
No.
That is a literal conversation that we had.
Hey, that's
Little
just what
dialogue.
China's like, okay?
Yeah, Little China anyway.
That's right.
I'm the only one who hadn't seen it before, right?
Right, I had
Yeah.
seen it once before. And actually not too long ago. I think the first time I saw it was only last year, maybe the year before, so it's fairly recent. I know that it's something that Matt had watched a bunch of times before I had seen it, so.
How'd you feel about the rewatch?
Oh, it was just fun. It's just a fun movie. And that was how I felt the first time I watched it. It's just a fun movie, and the rewatch definitely. Well, and we had a whole group over at the house to watch it, which always makes things even more exciting.
Sing How, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and Sarah, so there's a group in town, if you don't know about it, Cult Movie Classics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down at the Tempe Polk
The
Cinema.
Pollock.
And so they showed it just recently there. That's when you and Sarah
Yeah.
went to go see it,
Yeah,
right?
that was about,
February, I think she said.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that Sarah had seen it.
Well, it is fun. It is a fun movie, and I think it is fun with a group. I have a hard time imagining sitting down and watching it alone because
With a glass of wine.
Yeah, with a glass of wine. To Alice and Nathan's dismay, Sarah and I spent most of the time discussing and disparaging aspects of the movie. That made it enjoyable, and of course, seeing how passionate you two are about it also helped.
I got.
Hey, you did get upset. I had to tone it back. I was like, oh man.
No, this is a very important lesson learned for me, which is
That your friends are terrible.
And don't have good taste.
Right.
Well, we are,
If
yeah.
you have a film that you're passionate from your youth, perhaps people who aren't as old as you might not enjoy it as much.
And also, as we discussed, she's really
Your
trying.
face is really
Yes,
amazing.
she's really trying to sell that. And also, we discussed the taste, as we've said in other
Yes,
episodes.
yes.
I'm not. A
Yeah, I
big
don't
camp
know
lover.
that this is really in your typical wheelhouse, Cassie.
So would you call it campy?
Yeah, to a certain degree I would. But campy also kind of implies that it's low budget and you have to appreciate it because of that. I think very, very much on its surface, it's very enjoyable. It's definitely playing for big gags,
Yes.
big action, and when it was made in the time, I mean, they're actually very good visual effects. I mean,
For the time, yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, for the time, and
Even
they
now.
hold up
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah, the practical effects.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were made by people who had done Star Wars
Right.
and things like that.
I think when we use camp, and we've used this term a lot, I think,
Yeah.
like, in terms of campy, it's like the humor.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it didn't take itself too seriously.
Right. Well, I would agree with that.
So-
It definitely, didn't take
It wasn't
seriously.
like you must.
I mean, there's that crazy scene where the female jail guards are hitting them with
With
the whole, and then it blows smoke at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're all tied up, and he's throwing rubber balls at him with
Yes.
his mind, or
Yes.
just blowing
With
on
his
him.
breath.
Right. With
Right.
his breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's-
obsession with the green eyes,
Right.
but like over the top.
Oh
the
yeah,
way the
David
actor
Lopan's
played it.
totally.
Right. I mean, he if anything has kind of made like Big Trouble in Little China like last and continue throughout like modern history, it's that character.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like people still quote him, with like T-shirts and things like that.
Well, that was one of the things that you and I were talking about, that we think that the film is really quotable.
Mm-hmm.
Films today, the like Whoopie-Kaye motherfucker from,
Right.
that kind of stuff, which is really more than one-liner. But for me, there are so many one-liners in this film
Right.
that
Yeah.
me and my friends anyway.
What was my favorite one? Oh, you're crazy. That's your problem. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and that's what you were talking about with the Howard Hawks and the really snappy dialogue being one of my favorite things about it. Is it just chop, 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 chop,
Yeah.
chop, chop, chop with the dialogue. Because definitely for me, I don't know if I'm using the term right, in the third act it drags a little bit
Mhm.
in terms of the pacing.
Maybe
But the
second act.
dialogue for me was always on point. Always on point. And the two of them, especially Gracie Law and Jack Burton, the tete-a-tete between the two of them, I think is just
Mhm.
golden.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I
their
wanted a bit
timing
more.
was crackerjack.
Yeah, we watched a deleted scene that had a lot more of them going back and forth, and
Yeah, the whole group.
I wish that had been in the final product, because that was a really nice scene.
John Carpenter, the director, he is a huge Howard Hawks fan, and so like Israel Friday, that kind of stuff. Howard Hawks really relied on the characters and the dialogue. He didn't move the camera that much, and so I think The Thing is actually based off of Howard Hawks.
Is it
The
really?
Thing. Yeah, like the original one.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
almost-
see, I still haven't watched the
it was
original.
more of it was one of his few genre films. It was more kind of like a Frankenstein.
I love The Thing. How many times has John Carpenter worked with Kurt Russell?
The first
A
time, yeah.
Is it a lot?
The
That's-
first time
that's fine with
was
me.
on a TV movie about Elvis, and he played Elvis Presley.
Okay.
And then they did Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from L.A.
And I haven't seen the Escape movies, and those have been on my list for some time, so I need to watch those.
Yeah, from a little I've seen of Escape from New York, it seems like there's a very similar tone. Is that
No.
right? Or is it more
It's
serious?
darker.
Yeah.
It's not a comedy.
So I wonder what I saw that made me
It's,
think it was.
I mean, it's still of that era.
Yeah.
Right?
Here's a great way to kind of think of it is that, Kurt Russell is doing John Wayne in Big Trouble in Little China, kind of the spirit of John Wayne, and in Escape from New York, he's doing Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's
yeah.
definitely more of a kind of like a, don't move or I'll shoot you, sucker kind of movie.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun, Escape from New York, but it's definitely more of a harder, less crowd
Less
pleasing.
gaggy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really many gags.
I mean, it's a dystopia future,
Right.
and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
But it's kind of like a cool.
Generally dark.
It's like it's a different kind of western.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a totally different kind of western.
Well,
not-
it's a spaghetti western if it's Clint Eastwood,
Yeah,
right?
it totally is. It's much more kind of like Yojimbo. Where this
Yeah.
guy
Oh,
is
that's a
doing
great
stuff.
one. Nathan and I are going to have to start a Westerns podcast. I can feel it right now. I love Westerns, man. They're so great. Shall we talk about our favorite characters? It's hard to pick, though. It's just...
I was going to, because one of the other things we usually do is like, why didn't you see it?
Oh,
And
yeah.
As I was doing that in my head, I was like, because Cassie wasn't born.
Cats out of the bag. Wasn't born when this movie came out, and I think
I was
Megan
born.
was still breastfeeding or something.
I was born. Yes.
Maybe potty training. Who knows?
I was working on Goo Goo Gaga stuff.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard of it many times. It's a movie that's been recommended to me a lot of times, and I just finally had a chance to sit down and watch it last year. I'm actually really glad that we're talking about it because just a fun movie. I'm glad that I've watched it now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm glad I saw it. It's a movie you have to see.
I was too busy watching that other Kurt Russell movie where he's Jack O'Neill.
Yes, the other
Right.
Jack.
And The
other
Thing.
Jack.
I've seen The Thing a ton of times. I just love that movie. I really like Kurt Russell.
So is Jack Burton a favorite character?
Well, yeah, because he's got awesome moccasins.
The super moccasins.
The super moccasins, as Nathan calls them, yeah.
Yeah.
So
he
what is
works
your
that
favorite? He looks damn fine in a mullet, I would say.
Yeah, we were talking about that when we were watching.
Said he pulled it off really well.
He can really wear a mullet, yeah. He can wear a
Not everyone
military
can say
cut.
that.
He's got that, like, an even bigger mullet in The Thing. And he's got that giant beard in The Thing. He can
Yeah.
he's very
Beard
versatile.
and mullet.
Yes. Well, you know,
Mind blown.
he's in the Antarctic.
Totally, I'm
He's
like,
got to
yeah.
keep
Can you
himself
see his
warm.
eyes?
Yeah.
Is the question.
His beard usually had like ice.
Yes. He's
Amazing.
got a big beard in that movie.
So then,
Yeah.
what's your favorite Jack Burton line?
Well, are you crazy? Is that your
Oh,
problem?
is your-
Yeah.
that is your-
That's the only one I can really remember because
Son of a
I love it
Which
so much.
must pay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my god, me and my friends would used to say that so much. Yeah, no, mine is the whole speech at the beginning where it says, when some guy knocks your favorite head up against the wall and asks you if you paid your dues, you tell him what Jack Burton always says. You paid your dues?
The check's in the mail.
And while he was talking, who was it that said free podcast?
Oh, that was me. Because he's on his radio in his
he's on-
truck.
That's exactly.
Original.
That exact same.
Yeah.
It's podcasting.
The poor truckers. He's like hogging the.
Yeah,
Hope there's nothing pressing.
Probably has a giant fan base because he's so funny.
Yeah.
I wonder what his show is called.
The Pork Chop Express.
Oh,
Pork
yes,
Chop
that's
Express.
right. Yes.
All right, Cassie, how about you?
I liked his. I feel like I heard you say his sidekick, but wasn't really his sidekick.
Oh yeah.
Who's really the lead of the film?
Right, right,
Is
yeah.
Is that Wang or?
Wang.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wang.
Wang. Yeah, I
Wang.
liked Wang, and I like Gracie Law, but I liked Wang.
The very
I
respectable
just-
characters are your favorite.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But Wang,
I know, she likes Wang.
shut up, guys. I liked one of the villains.
Oh.
Oh, yes, we were
Lightning?
talking about Lightning Fellow.
He's very sexy.
He's
Big
very
hat
handsome.
and a nice
Yes.
chest.
Oh, was that lightning or
It was
which
lightning.
one was it?
It was
Lightning.
Lightning. No, it's
Was it
Rain
Rain?
who has the pretty hair.
Right.
Yeah, Rain and the The
And
weave.
then Thunder is the huge guy.
Thunder
Yeah.
is the scary ass dude.
That is
Lost
such a great
control.
moment in the film when he just explodes.
I hated it. I hated that moment.
Just for no reason, he just gets so mad he explodes.
He couldn't. Well, like you
He
said,
couldn't suffer the loss of his master.
That's right.
Tommy
Yes.
Kamikaze did, I guess.
No, it's a very Asian honorable.
Yeah.
And that just makes me think of that awesome escalator in their lair.
Right.
I was like,
Everything
I'm
was
putting
so-
an escalator in my lair when I have one.
There were
Yeah,
so
update.
many things that
Yeah.
made it like really convenient, and then so many things that were like ridiculously hard. Like they put them in the wicker wheelchairs, and
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah, she set up that whole gag.
just said
Yeah.
the entire gag
Yeah.
of him hanging over the
well.
crevice,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Got some
Good.
forearm strength.
It was the core. His core.
Oh, yes,
his
core strength.
His
Yeah,
core
for me, it's
totally
definitely the two leads, and it's
Yeah.
primarily because of the dialogue.
Oh,
But I also
yeah.
like it, Chandler.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like,
Oh, Egg is cool.
Egg Shan, Lopan, and Jack Burton are just like these fantastic characters.
Characters,
They're just so well done. And when you look at it, you know, it's part writing, but I feel like they just the performance, like
Casting makes all the
yeah,
difference in the
like,
world.
There's just so much, just in the ways that certain lines are delivered that you wouldn't, you know, that would be kind of amusing. You know, it's like remember when they're trying to escape the whole layer, and Egg is right above them on the ceiling up above. And how'd you get there? Wasn't easy. Perfect delivery.
all these lines run through my head. The lines where the female sidekick does the "I must be so monumentally naive."
She's a fun character. She's a
is.
fun secondary character, and I feel like really embodies what you guys are talking about with that 40s kind of style. She just kind of like this, not the main character, kind of a support character, but
the plucky,
goofy, fluffy
female sidekick.
Yeah, she played that well. And then we remembered, oh, she's Meredith Grey's mom.
Yes, that's right.
And she aged well.
Yeah, she looks exactly the same. Kim Cattrall still looks very nice, too.
Yeah, Kim Cattrall.
She had gorgeous hair in this movie. We were talking about that. Her hairstyle in this movie also holds up very well. It's got that beautiful, like, 80s
wispy,
giant wispy curls.
Yeah.
There's even some feathering up in there in the top, but it's not super dated. It's real nice.
It could be, like, toned down just a bit, but still not too bad.
Yeah.
And does she have naturally green eyes, or did she wear contacts?
No, I think she wears contacts.
Okay.
Google
Find a
Kim
picture
Cattrall's
of her.
eye color, because that's not creepy.
Not creepy at all.
I'm sure you wouldn't be the first.
No, it'll probably come up in the Google search, Kim Cattrall's eye color. Google's going to help you out.
So what's your favorite bit? What's your favorite scene? What's your favorite?
Oh, yeah, that's tough. I mean, it really comes from just how fun and vivid the characters are, you know? And I'm really kind of hard-pressed to find a favorite scene. It's really just these little moments that are kind of like these Jack Burtonisms. And so, not only as an audience member, but also as like a writer and a director, and just kind of like a general like supporter of fun characters. There's like these little moments to where like the character just has like this great moment. It's like when they're in the White Tigers and it's being attacked, and you know, the three storms come down to steal Wendy's girlfriend. And, you know, he runs into and slugs rain, and it does nothing. Slugs him again, does nothing, and he just kind of gives him like a, okay. Like a little nod. It's just like a wonderful, that's one of my favorite little moments, just that tiny little, you know.
Sort of nod that he gives him,
Okay.
He goes flying across the room.
He takes everything in stride, which is what makes him such a great character. He's just like, all right, there's a floating eye monster. Got it.
Right.
He did, and from the beginning when they were in the truck.
Well, he talks about it at the beginning of the truck, where he's like, "We'd be fools to think we're all alone in this crazy wide world we live in, whatever it is." But what the other thing I really like about him is he's put in this, you know, his adventure goes crazy on him, right?
Yeah.
And he's such a like pragmatic guy. He's like, "What is it, Wang?" You know,
Right.
what? He's like always questioning.
China is here. I don't even know what the hell that
means.
Exactly. But yeah, you definitely get a sense like he constantly talks like he knows so much.
Yeah.
Like he's been on adventures, but I'm pretty sure like this is like the first real adventure that he's ever been on. It's like, have you ever plugged a guy? No, of course not. I mean, you know, that's the first time. You know, everything. He's like, that was one of the things I was talking about. It's like, you know, if you look at the film, that Wang, who's doing all the martial arts, actually is the hero.
Yeah.
Who loses his girlfriend and has to get her back. The great comic twist of this entire story is, what if you took the sidekick, and everyone, because the way he acted, everyone treated him like he was the main hero. He just kind of comes in like that John Wayne character and just kind of, you know, strides in and kind of takes control. And he's almost like the dude. He hardly does anything of any value except for kind of like the end, which is
and he gets knocked out during one of the big fight scenes. He's like
because of
completely
his own
useless.
stupidity.
And then there's another fight scene where Wang is kicking everyone, you know, and he's trying to get his, you know, knife out of the thing.
Yeah.
And he throws it and he goes and gets it.
Yeah, that is endearing.
And that, yeah, so the web series that I do, Voyage Trackers, the main character, Captain Sunstrike, is kind of based off of that kind of character, to where you act like you're in charge, you look handsome, and then you know, when no one's looking, you scratch your butt, and then you accidentally, you know, slip on something, and just the whole idea of like an idiot with authority, you know?
Yeah.
And then to take it a little bit like
too far.
No, but then to take it deeper is like, but he's constantly striving, whether it's Sunstrike or whether it's Jack, he's still constantly striving to do what's right. It may be self-serving in both characters' cases, but there is that like attempt to meet that level that they want everyone to think they're at.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a connection. I think that now Big Trouble in Little China and that character in specific, it's kind of entered my DNA in terms of like what I like as like a creator, because there's been a lot of, you know, you can kind of, if you do enough stuff, you can see patterns, and there's been kind of a lot of similar kind of offspring of Jack Burton.
Well, he's a great character. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Well, I think I think that's one of the reasons why I had an instant affinity for Voyage truckers is because I come from that same place, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that there are a lot of similarities. Okay, favorite bit, favorite moment. You have one. Maybe?
Well, we were talking about Jack being kind of the sidekick character. I immediately thought of that scene where they're in the elevator, getting ready to go to the fight.
Absolutely.
I feel really good about this. After they've just taken the Chinese potion.
They kind of like rubbing each other on the shoulders.
They're getting a little too
Right.
That is such a hilarious moment. Yeah.
Well, after Nathan pointed it out, like from a writer perspective, I did like that scene with the group. The group scene in the house when they're still trying to kind of figure stuff out. Mm-hmm. Because everyone kind of chimes in, and I'm a big fan of ensemble cast and ensemble writing, so I enjoy seeing that. I enjoy seeing that dynamic, and it's expository, but it wasn't over the top, or it didn't hit you over the head with it. It felt very natural. Everyone's got their perspective, everyone's participating, everyone's chiming in, and meanwhile there's Jack who's just like not having any of it. None of it.
Drinking his whatever the
and
hell
he was
it is.
like, and was it in the deleted scene or in the actual scene where he was like, I guess in both, he's like, I'm gonna go turn on baseball or
Right,
Yeah,
that
well,
was the deleted scene.
deleted scene.
Well, I like the deleted scene too, where after he's drinking the whatever concoction she's made, he's like, too much, fishtail. and
Giant
whatever.
seahorse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
As if he's had it before.
Right.
Oh.
And just the whole clusterfuck that became the final act.
Yes. That's where it really slows down for me, and I think for me it's because there's not a lot of that really great dialogue happening.
There's a lot less dialogue.
There's all sorts of mysticism happening, and so like for the last 30 minutes,
I want one of those conveyor belt crossbow things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right?
That's pretty cool.
There's so much going on.
For those of us of the age, for me, which I think I've mentioned before, I spent many nights up late watching Kung Fu Theater on TNT. So all of that crazy flying in the air and Kung Fu stuff that most people today only know through Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I grew up with, and so none of it seemed that, it all seemed part of that camp. Because, Kung Fu movies of that era are also very campy.
You have to wonder, one of the reasons why the movie was like a bomb is that people were just not prepared for that kind of mixture of genres,
It is a giant clash, like you said earlier. There's a lot going on.
For sure.
And it's totally acceptable for us now because we've seen so many genres kind of melded together and things like that. But,
A mashup.
Right, exactly. Mashup.
There's even a term for it now.
Yeah.
That is a great action scene, though, where Wang is flying through the air and throwing all his kicks. Like, there were some really great martial arts in that scene. I was very impressed with, what is that actor's name? Dennis Dunn's
Dennis.
martial art ability. It was really good.
Were you saying that somebody looked it up and said he hadn't studied before? He learned it for the film?
Yeah,
That's
he was
crazy.
He was really good.
Because he looked like he'd been doing it for years.
Yeah,
He was very good.
Yeah. Maybe he had like a gymnastics background or something.
Maybe.
Because he was.
Well, Summer Glau, it's ballet or dancing.
Is it?
Something.
Well, it makes sense.
Dancing.
It's all about lions.
Yeah, dancing in a lot of ways, like in just fight choreography, it's all about repeating, in a fight scene, it's all about repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Hitting certain marks, like, you don't actually strike each other.
Right.
So
What?
in a lot of ways, like a dancing
What's
background.
She wouldn't hate
So
me.
what? Okay, so Cassie, we know you had some issues with the film. Third act for one, sort of dragged. What else just was not working for you?
I don't know. I felt like the story was just off, and it's really a style thing, right? For me, I felt like I wasn't quite grasping in the beginning, and I just kind of let it go. But there were aspects of Wang's character that made it seem like he knew what was going on, but he didn't really. And the mysticism, and maybe it was just because I was talking over what would have explained it with Sarah. But there were things where I was like, what's happening? And so if I were to, I'd probably watch it again and be silent. And see if there was some clarity. Because so much of what we were commenting on was the visual and the big gags, and we were joking about all the different lines and things like that. That sometimes when we were actually quiet and like watching the story progress, I was just like,
What's going on?
when they do a lot of like expository stuff with like the old Chinese men sitting down and
At the
talking,
table.
it's very
horns,
when they're
butt
just
against it.
actually yeah exactly. It's almost like purposefully impenetrable, to where you really kind of have a lot of difficulty understanding what some of the terminology. Obviously, me having seen it so many times, it's not an issue, and then it's also, it's just kind of throwaway exposition. You don't really need to know why Lopan was first.
Right, yeah.
Animized, whatever.
And,
right.
Yeah.
And, I mean, and some of that, it is just the style that they were going for. I think a lot of it was meant to kind of just be like, here's the story, take it or leave it.
It's an action movie. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, let's move.
And
Jack's got places to go.
I can't remember.
There's
what I was
dinosaurs
watching.
because reasons.
Yeah, because reasons. Because reasons. Just go there. How about you? I mean, obviously you love this film like I do, but
Right.
there must be things that don't.
There's kind of not really a point to that reporter character that you couldn't really get across with Gracie Long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I mean, the
Yeah.
actress was great when she was on screen, but I almost felt like, it could have just been all Gracie Law instead of her.
Right.
Yeah.
Except that she was like the love
maybe for the
interest.
scenes where she had someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I guess she kind of played the same role to Kim Cattrall as that Wang did for.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the idea, was some symmetry there.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, she was kind of extraneous.
I mean, it's just a goofy, fun movie, so anything that doesn't work, you just kind of forget it and
Or you
move
either have to
forward.
let it go or you
Yeah.
you hold on to it so tight. That
I'm usually pretty forgiving of stuff like that if I'm enjoying a film, and what is that giant hairy creature?
yeah, talk about a superfluous character.
Like Beast from He-Man.
And he's only in there for like 1.5 scenes. He just
Right.
kind of strolls
Yeah,
by at
Although,
the end.
talking about, I love the scene where he like goes to touch whatever and Kim Cattrall's fingers and tries to bite his fingers. I love that scene.
Yeah.
I think having like a lot of these like really out there, unexplained monsters and creatures just kind of appear and they're there, and no one comments on it, or it's not overly explained. Kind of helps the world because you feel like you're dumped into
Right.
a place.
Yeah.
It's like Star Wars. It's like, oh, there's too much to explain. You're not explaining anything. But it's like that. The whole idea is that like
There's just Jawas, just go with
right.
it.
Yeah, just go with it.
Yeah.
Like George Lucas really loved the Akira Kurosawa samurai films,
Yeah.
and there's so much in there that because he's not Japanese and he doesn't know about the period, that's not explained in it. You just feel like you're literally transported into a world where everyone has already had these conversations, and so I felt like certain things like that, which like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, that kind of world building. is
Yeah.
something
Right.
That I really enjoy as an audience member and as a filmmaker.
Is it weird that I really want one of those eyeball monsters as a pet?
I would never go to your house again. Ever.
I feel like I should just have one with me and just send it places
Just
just to
right,
freak
yeah.
people out.
Right.
Go
And
check out the
because of
dog.
the eye monster, we're meeting at
Dude.
Santa's house.
And I saw how that thing died, so I will be. I
How
would
did that thing die?
stabbed him.
Sword,
Oh, that's
right?
right.
And he
yeah.
even made this
Right in the third
funky
eye.
face, like the eye muscle, like
Yeah.
slapped, just like you would.
I think I just I loved the puppetry involved with that monster. It's
Yeah,
a really
yeah.
cool piece of special effect. Whoever built that thing
It
had a
looked
lot of
fun.
fun with it. Yeah.
It looked like
Didn't it have an
entrails
eyeball on
with
its
eyeballs.
tongue? Right?
Yes,
Yes,
that's
it
what it's called.
It did, and it was like hanging. Oh, so can you tell I didn't like the character?
It was a little
So
too
grossed
grotesque
out.
for
That's why I won't be
Cassandra.
watching the thing.
Too far into
Oh
the
my God,
grotesque
yeah.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Yes.
have to get so drunk before I
Right,
watch the thing.
exactly.
I don't recommend watching that movie drunk. That might be
Worse, it's like
Yeah.
So what, as a liker of this genre, or this style of film, what are some other films that if somebody watched Big Trouble in China and liked it, what other films would you
The first thing that comes to mind, which we discussed, is not similar in tone, but is the same, director and actor as Escape from New York. It's not too far off in terms of when it was made, and it's just kind of fun to see them together. It's kind of like like the Cornetto trilogy of Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. They're very different, but it's the same people.
Right. So it has a
Yeah.
very similar
Right.
feel to that.
But yeah, in terms of style and stuff like that. I don't know.
Or tone.
It's really, it's really.
I would say Buckaroo Banzai, for sure. The one that you just said.
Escape from New York.
Thank you. My God, what the hell just happened? You know what movie came to my head, although it's really not related in style at all, is Young Sherlock Holmes. And I don't know why it
Still haven't seen
came
that.
to my head. Because that's Steven Spielberg, isn't it?
He produced it.
He produced it.
I've seen, like, the title, but I have not seen... You guys mentioned The Golden Child, which I have not seen, with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, Wikipedia has it, saying this whole, and you probably already know this, like, they hired Carpenter to direct this film and rush Big Trouble in Little China, I guess, because they knew The Golden Child was coming out. So I guess they were trying to get it out before The Golden Child came out. What makes them so similar? The fact that they take place in San Francisco?
Asian.
Yeah,
magic.
there's Asian, right?
I
It's
haven't
the
seen
Golden Child, so...
It's,
Yeah.
I can't recommend it.
I can't. In good conscience, I can't.
Right.
I think this is a movie that a lot of people actually really love. Big
Yeah, I
Trouble.
mean, it is a cult classic. There's a
mean,
reason for it.
Yeah.
I don't, I was, I think about 10 when the movie came out, and I don't remember seeing any ads. I never heard anything about it, and I don't remember the first time I saw it on TV. It was probably on cable.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those things to where I kind of picked it up how a lot of people picked it up is after the fact. Finding it individually and then being the guy, hey, you've got to see this movie, me and also the other co-creator of Voyage were both huge Big Trouble in China.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, so I to our screening, I wore the Big Trouble in China
Yes!
t-shirt.
Which was awesome. I really want one.
Yeah,
Right.
that was good.
And so I took a picture of myself in Chinatown with that shirt
Mhm.
when I visited.
Yeah, you showed us that. That was pretty cool.
That's perfect.
So there's something I wanted to discuss,
By all means.
which I hadn't brought up before. So I do it like a filmmaker blog, just for Squishy Studios. And almost everything, at least for the last 2 years, has been Voyage Checkers related. But before that, it was like short films and stuff like that. But I actually did a blog post on Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, really?
Oh.
And so, I probably get at least one hit on that blog every single day
Really?
because of that post.
Wow.
Because I could see which of the posts did it, and almost every single day someone is looking at that post, and I posted like 3 years ago.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
It's
I
crazy.
think we were talking about, what doesn't necessarily work. I think the stuff that doesn't work, the movie as a whole just has
Right.
it just works.
It has so much
So the
charm
stuff
and
that
fun.
doesn't work, you just
Right.
kind of move past it really quick because there's something really funny coming right behind it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I thought kind of like the classic gag that in some ways epitomizes the movie is that he has that red lipstick on his face
Yes.
after making out with
Yes.
Gracie, and he just goes about half of the scene before he even knows about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's I thought that was hilarious. And that's something you actually never see in films at all, You
Right,
know
it's
that
just
lady's
this-
wearing lipstick.
Yeah.
It
Why
doesn't
isn't
come
it coming
off.
Yeah.
I
Right.
love seeing that actually happen.
Definitely adds to the
It's
goofiness.
the whole idea is that Jack is really kind of puffing himself up and being really tough with the bad guy, and he's got lipstick all over his face.
Yeah.
And he's not going to know until halfway into the scene.
Well, and Kurt Russell's performance is just brilliant. He's really good at he does this
sells
thing where
it.
he bobs his head a lot, which I actually kind of love. He's like, yeah, guys, come on.
When we had our little watching party, except I can't remember who's
We
anymore.
can probably figure this
Yeah.
out.
That's
So-
the one that's in December.
Oh yeah, yours is weird. We
Yeah.
ordered in Chinese and drank Tsinghao and watched the movie. So we all have our fortune. Isn't that one? No, that one's yours.
This is Sarah's.
That one's Sarah's. We all have our fortunes from our fortune cookies. So
Oh, and we should read our learn Chinese words.
oh god,
I don't wish
In
to
English, though,
butcher
right?
that language.
I tried once to learn Cantonese because I was such a huge Hong Kong movie fan.
How'd it
Cantonese
go?
is hard.
Well, when I listened to the tape for the 45th time, and all I could hear was ba, ba, Bah. I was like, oh, okay, fuck it. I can't hear the tone difference at all. They all sound exactly the same to me. I was like, okay, I'm giving, because they have something like
tough.
9 different tonal
Yeah, they've got a lot of
changes.
inflections that
Why didn't you
we don't
remember?
have.
Because I was a lover of Hong Kong films.
I'm sorry.
It's not the same
I know.
thing.
Sorry.
John Woo films are not in Mandarin, right?
Mm.
Cantonese.
Probably could have found subtitles.
So then, anyway, all right,
Okay,
go for it.
Nathan.
Okay, so mine, there must be a translation. Mine is going to be the least satisfying. Always the beautiful. Answer who asks a more beautiful question.
It was trying to be poetic.
It was
You
trying.
were so nice.
I'm serious. When I read it, I was like, once I saw it, I was like, oh, they're trying to suggest that the one who asks is beautiful or some bullshit.
No, here it is. Here it is.
It's not mine. Yeah.
Or some
So
bullshit.
it's a lot of bullshit, but you can keep it because it's got beautiful twice in it, and you were the only guy in our group.
Oh.
Oh.
So
Okay.
mine is, keep your plans secret for now. In bed.
I'll
Clearly
make
in
sure
bed.
to add
Ooh,
that
was
to
a
all of ours.
surprise.
The dramatic pause was very helpful.
Thank you.
I think you have the best in bed one.
No, I do.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Remind
let's hear
us
it.
then.
Let's hear it.
A big fortune will descend upon you.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, I win. Or lose, depending on how that situation
No, that is all win.
It's always a
honey.
win.
That is
That's
all
always a
win.
win. Oh my god. We just went downhill fast.
Yep,
People. Okay.
All right, Megan.
All right, mine is learn to enjoy every minute of your life. In bed.
That was good. That was
I
good.
know.
Deep.
I like-
Well,
I
but
like
if
it.
you put the in bed there, it's like
Duh.
if you leave it out, it's implied, because it's every
Hers
minute.
was implied.
Ours was implied. Oh god.
All right, Sarah's is the most. Earnest, I would say.
Should we have Nathan read it?
Sure.
With his beautiful
Yes,
baritone
let's
voice.
have our guest read
Sell
it.
it. Sell it.
All the darkness in the world cannot put out a single candle.
Oh man, that was brilliant.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I was like, surely no one will add in bed to that.
My dad will be so proud of this.
So those were our fortunes.
Yes.
If we mashed them up, I'm sure that it would seem very similar to plot.
We should. That's a great idea. Someone needs to make a movie/series
Based
written entirely out of fortune cookies. So we're gonna get drunk and write a story based on fortune cookies, right? That's
Yes,
the new
that's
plan.
the new plan.
And then I'm gonna watch The Thing.
Yes.
Yes!
Oh man,
I will
am.
regret every
I am
minute.
gonna show you the thing. I can't not show you that movie.
Oh, I guess I have to
Okay,
see
the
it.
way that Megan just looked at you and shook her head and
Yeah,
said,
you've got no
I'm
idea.
going to show you the thing. And
To-
the thing she was talking about is the big thing descending from her mom.
No, seriously, she wants to be there to see me freak
I
out.
do.
Is what
I think
is
both
what
your
it is.
fortune cookies are.
They are. They have a line.
Yeah, your fortunes are.
For
Yeah,
a John
mine are.
Carpenter
for a
experiment.
big fortune.
I'm so
Yeah.
scared right now.
Well, I think-
To
I
quote
think
a
since
previous
we've-
episode, you don't even know.
I don't even know.
Don't hit me.
I don't know. You just have to drink.
So I think we've circled up nicely to drinking game.
Yes, we
I
have.
think we've segued quite well.
That was me being proud of myself.
Yes.
So drinking game rules.
Every time there's a WTF moment, everybody takes a drink.
Everybody.
Is that a
is
drink
gonna
or a
play.
shot?
That might be a shot.
I
shot.
think that'd have to be a shot.
Everyone takes a shot, and
If anyone in your group watching the film
Goes,
what?
what?
The fuck?
two
What the
shots
what?
for that person.
2 shots
Right.
for that person.
Yeah.
Everyone else
Yeah,
is-
everyone
I
else gets one.
I
I'm
like
so
it.
mean.
She does. She does
I'm always like-
And you're
I
you're
don't
like
drink.
one of the lighter drinkers in the group too.
Yeah. So I will be silent.
The best that I could come up with was anytime anyone mentions a Chinese hell.
A Chinese
Yes,
hell.
that's a good one.
But
Yes.
the problem is you've got to wait like 45 minutes into the movie until that.
Maybe you get 2 shots for that.
Yeah.
But by then it's
There's a lot of Chinese hells.
There are
There
a lot
are.
of Chinese hells.
Yeah.
The Chinese have a lot of hells.
Who brought up the fact that, especially in the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie, Jack Burton, Jack.
Oh, that was me. I was having problems with that. Yeah, this was one of the movies, especially at the beginning. There, I think, and Gracie Law in particular has like this group of dialogue where she's like, Jack, what are we going to do, Jack? I can't believe this is happening right now, Jack. What are we going to do, Jack?
And Wang does too.
Jack, what are you doing here, Jack? Yeah, and Wang in particular is really bad.
So I think it should be a sip for Jack and a shot for Jack Burton.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We could have tested that one out. That could be.
That could be bad.
Right? That could be alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're going with the sip just for Jack, because I think that's the biggest
That
offender.
is the biggest offender. Jack Burton happens a few times, but we may have to insert like a rule where like if you say a key word, you can skip one of those shots. Some sort of like back out because you realize you're getting too far gone and you're getting into Chinese hell territory. 45 minutes later.
Drinking games.
Yes. You're like, I'm going to die. I did not drink.
I think there should be something around the low pans,
Low
nose
pan.
twitchy with the finger.
Right.
Oh my god.
All right,
Freak.
Take a drink anytime that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime he does the pinky finger.
Oh, take a shot anytime they talk about people with green eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How about a
Yeah,
sip?
that'd be heavy in the
A
middle.
drink? Okay.
Drink, yeah.
Drink.
Girl with green eyes.
Because then there are
Yeah.
two of them, and then you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
He has two of them at his disposal, and he just can't contain
that is
himself.
double.
So yeah, gotta watch that. I'm trying to think of what else.
We need a good Jack Burton rule that's not his name. Some kind of action. Well, because I love his
Every time,
moccasins so much.
it could be, well,
Take a drink anytime
every time
you
you
see
see
his
his
moccasins.
moccasins.
Yeah.
It could be any time that he's trying to do his big hero thing and he fumbles
He
it
fails.
really
Yeah.
badly.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And maybe there's like a special drink for that of some kind.
I know what would be the
That's
drink?
tough though. Yeah, it's like every time he tries to play the action hero, but he just completely
Falls on his
screws it
face.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole movie.
Right. Start drinking.
Right.
Although I do find it funny that people don't acknowledge it. The
Yeah.
other characters
Yeah.
don't acknowledge his failures.
And
it's just
that's
for
the
us.
whole purpose of that first scene is that was added in later that studio executives and some audience were kind of trying to figure out, is he the hero? And so they needed Egg to state, he's the hero, we owe him a huge debt. And so the entire movie is now framed by that.
Yeah.
And so we go into that, well, it's an established fact.
Because he said it.
Right.
Because
Right,
he said
exactly.
so.
He said it,
It is,
yeah.
it is true.
What's an egg chin rule?
He's funny.
It's funny. And who's the actor who? Because actually, for the very short time that he's on screen, the one who plays Egg Shen's lawyer during that opening sequence,
Oh, yeah.
he's awesome in that scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
But he was in the X-Files, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. I saw that immediately. I was like,
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
in cancer. He was in cancer.
No.
he
that-
was one of that whole organization.
Okay.
Was he well manicured?
But as soon as I saw his face, I was like, X-Files! But I kept
I must have been moving a car or something. At that
You might
point.
have
I
been,
don't
yeah. It
remember
was
that.
it was in an office. It was in the very
Yeah, I am just
Yeah.
missing it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, now I have to rewatch the movie. Boo-hoo!
Yes! Just the first 5 minutes. We didn't talk about his friend, the kind of bulkier guy who's kind of
It
a
reminds us
doofus.
of what's
Yeah.
A
his
certain
name?
individual.
A certain individual who we won't mention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to
He
think
was
of
like a cool sidekick.
I was trying to think
Cute.
of a
He was
good
the
drinking
side
game for
sidekick.
him.
He was a sidekick.
Yes.
He was, this assistant
Tertiary.
sidekick.
Yes, the assistant sidekick.
He was
He's
so
got a lot of
funny.
good things to say, though.
Yeah, he had some fun things to say.
Was that Eddie Lee?
Yep, Eddie. So, anything in regards to our two love interests in drinking games beyond the
That's
Jack?
right. There are only the 2 kisses, right?
Yeah.
So that might be shot chaser.
Anytime there's a kiss.
Yeah, maybe you have to do a bomb.
A sake bomb.
Asaki bomb, is that
Although
There are
that's
many
more
bombs.
what I'm saying?
There are many bombs.
So, we'll have to come up with a certain kind
So
of
that
bomb.
was our yes. We
Oh.
need to come up with the big trouble
We
in
do
China
need
bomb.
a drink.
So what would the 2 things be?
Well, they make that
Sing Hao. You could drop something into some Sing Hao.
that drink that the magical elixir that they all drink towards
Oh,
the
yeah.
end. Was that
Oh.
green? What did that
It
look
was
like?
green.
You can put some green pop rocks.
It's gonna
in
have to
there.
be like something really gross that you mix and drop into your sing.
Why gross?
Because that's how we roll, Cassie.
No. that's how you roll. I was talking about pop rock. Or
I-
something.
I was thinking it'd have to be like melon liqueur or something really weird.
Oh, okay, that's not terrible. Definitely sweet though.
I don't
Gross.
know. It'd be a really interesting mix.
Because I mean, the liqueur isn't going to be horrible if mixed with the right thing, but mixed with beer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the obvious
Cider?
green drink to go towards is absinthe also, but we've gotten into some trouble mixing drinks with absinthe before.
Probably.
Yes, because Brie made the Pink Galactic Gargle
Yeah, she made
Blasters
the
with the
gargle
absinthe.
blaster.
And
Gargle blaster.
let me just quote
Yeah.
her Facebook post. My head!
I've never had absinthe before. I don't know if I want to have it for the first time with y'all.
What are you saying?
We're going to have our own big trouble in Little China.
What would Jack Burke drink? I just
Yeah,
can't see
beer.
Really,
Well,
beer?
beer,
He
yeah.
drinks beer, yeah.
No whiskey if he wants to go hard.
We saw him drinking beer at the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
What
And
kind
he's
were they
gone there
drinking
with-
Singho? What were they
I
drinking?
couldn't tell. It didn't
No.
look like Singho. It looked like something else. And I don't know if they did a generic. He
Great.
does look like a beer drinker, especially in. Yeah, he's a
Miller
trucker.
time.
Yeah,
He's a
Miller
trucker.
time.
Yes.
You know what I say when it's Miller time?
What?
The movie.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Nope,
What?
sorry.
She crazy law says something like, "You should be standing downwind for me." I can't remember how the rest of it goes. And then that's when she walks away and he turns and it's the Chinese woman.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that whole airport scene was awesome.
Really?
We were talking. Sarah and I were
Oh.
yapping.
Oh, yeah.
Next thing I know, there's running and gunning and
And son of a bitch wants pay.
son of a bitch.
That was my
Okay,
whole
yeah.
drinking game rule, is you need to take a drink anytime rain, thunder, and lightning show up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And a shot anytime you start using your awesome powers.
Whoa.
Yep, she did some jujitsu.
No, she didn't.
Trying to give her some kudos.
Cassie's trying to build me up, and Alice is just like, no.
No. Negative.
That was just awkward and terribly
It
awkward.
was most
There were
definitely
fists.
not
She's
jujitsu.
like, let me tell you.
Who was it? The lightning that we liked? He had a lot of really nice hand movements.
Yes.
He did
He
have
was
some
doing
very,
a lot
he was
of,
very elegant.
I know I can't even remember
Tai
what's
Chi.
that.
Since we've got Nathan here, Nathan, do you have any websites you want to plug before we
yeah,
close out?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Any
yeah,
web
so-
addresses you want to share?
Sure. So if you want to check out the web series that I do, it's called Voyage Trekkers. It's a sci-fi comedy about the worst starship crew in the galaxy. You can just check us out at voyagetrekkers.com, and then we're also on Facebook and YouTube at Voyage Trekkers.
Cool. And it's really funny. I highly recommend
I
it.
highly recommend
It's
it.
one of
too.
the
Good
best
times.
produced things that's coming out of the Phoenix Indie scene, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
Second
Yeah.
season's very fun.
yeah, go online and just watch them all. You'll have a good couple of
You'll have a
hours.
good-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd start
Less
first
than
with
that.
season 2. It's a little better produced.
Okay.
And then you can go back at season 1. I don't know.
I
It's
disagree. I fell in love right
Well,
from
then you'll miss
season
the
one.
Choose Your Own Adventure episode. That
That's
was a
true.
good one.
That's true.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
we-
start with season 1. Don't listen to the creator.
Yeah, don't- listen to the fan.
Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, check out Voyage Trekkers. And don't forget that you can find Educating Geeks online. We're on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. Just search for Educating Geeks. And we are now at educatinggeeks.com. So make sure to check out our website.
Yeah.
So
All
thanks
right.
for listening, everybody. We'll be back